And let me talk a little bit about myself first. My name is Tim Long, and I'm as Megan commented, I'm a senior informatics consultant here at CSols. And prior to working at CSols, I worked for 3 years in a pharmaceutical manufacturing startup where I put together the GMP and quality systems at that location and helped develop the processing for pharmaceutical system drug repackaging. Prior to that, I worked at a major biotechnology company for 18 years, and starting over that long period of time, I worked on LIMS implementation of the first LIMS in the company, first at the main corporate site and then at multiple sites in the United States and Puerto Rico. I started as a senior manager and evolved to associate director and held other roles during that time, such as the head of the QA/QC information systems, including computer validation. And also I did some work on information architecture, and on information architecture I helped look at the different systems in the company and how data flowed between the different systems. And our goal was to try and make our systems more efficient in terms of how they handle their information. I had, prior to my biotech experience, 10 years experience in environmental chemistry, first as a laboratory analyst, evolving to doing laboratory IT development with relational databases, including integration of instruments from the lab to a custom LIMS database. And my education is chemistry and systems management, which is more of a technology-oriented MBA type of a degree. And I've also been project management professional credentialed since 2005 from PMI. So today we're going to talk about a number of items in terms of the special requirements for laboratory validation. I'll go over a brief history of validation, how it started, and how we got to the point we're at today. I have a number of case studies of real companies we've been exposed to and some of the situations that we've seen in various laboratory environments. The skill requirements for successful validations are very important, and partly based upon the case studies and what we've seen there, we're going to talk about what are those skill requirements and what are the needs for a laboratory validation. Then we'll draw some conclusions, and as Megan indicated, we'll have time for Q&A. So we'll start with the FDA and validation. Way back around the beginning of the 1900s, the book The Jungle by Upton Sinclair came out, and this book was popularizing or sort of talking about what really went on in the meat packing industry. And that was pretty scandalous at the time and created a bit of a furor. And it led to Congress creating the Pure Food and Drug Act in 1906. And this was at the time enforced by the Bureau of Chemistry, which was the name of the organization in the U.S. government at that time. And in 1927, the Bureau of Chemistry was renamed to the FDA, which is the name, obviously, we know of today. So then as time evolved, there still wasn't a lot of science behind a lot of the drugs that were put out in the country. And in particular, in 1937, there was an elixir that contained sulfanilamide, which was a drug that was supposed to solve a bunch of your health problems. But the vendor ran out of the solvent they typically used, and they instead substituted a glycol solvent, which they didn't realize was poisonous to humans, and it killed a lot of people and created a bit of a uproar in the country. And that led to the Congress creating the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, which is what defines and regulates drugs and cosmetics and food. And that Act has been continuously amended since then, now also includes medical devices and dietary supplements. By the 1950s, we were learning more about drugs and how things worked, the drug thalidomide came out, and the discovery was that if pregnant women took this drug, the babies were often born with significant deformities. So this led to the need to prove efficacy and characterize side effects, which is pretty much what led to the need for clinical trials in drugs in the late 50s and early 60s.